Do not say to me you have told me this. My name? Alcoholic. I was stuck in the bottle for I was not in the bottle for 13 years.
Hey, Peter. God dang it, Bobby.
Welcome back, guys, to another One-on-One Media podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Micah.
Today we're going to discuss the state of live shows and concerts in today's COVID-19 world. What are your comments, Micah, on the state of concerts these days when, everything's shut down and everything's converted to live streams or nothing at all? What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I used to go to a lot of concerts, especially with Matt back in the day. Back in the day, it was like 8 months ago, and it's been pretty sad when you think about it. Usually we'd go to a show maybe once every couple weeks, or especially for electronic music and metal shows, maybe once a month. So it's a bit depressing when you think about it. I don't think that concerts will come back for probably at least maybe another year or so. Like, the world's just changing so much with the COVID-19 pandemic. So I don't know, it's hard to say. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a sad reality we live in for the people who are into live shows and concerts and music festivals like ourselves. It's a really sad time to be alive, basically. It makes me depressed, honestly, just knowing that going to live shows is over for, like you said, maybe at least another year, most likely, maybe even 2, the experts are saying. So, at least we're getting something, right? At least all these shows have kind of converted to live streams because, of course, the artists are struggling. They used to get revenue from ticket sales and playing shows, but now there's none of that for them, so they've converted to live streams. So the live streams are nice. It's definitely not the same at all, but at least, hey, you get something, right? And there's some companies out there doing really huge production, even though there's nobody in the audience, but they're doing it for the people watching at home. So, it's a sad state of the world we're in, but I'm glad there's live streams and there's something we still can look forward to.
Mm-hmm. I think you can reach more of a broader audience when you're doing a live stream too. Whereas someone's like, come to Brazil, and they can't come to Brazil, right? So if a band does a live stream, everyone in the world can watch it. At least we have that option. And I think a lot of bands are doing the donations will go towards music venues, and they're giving the option for that as well. So like you said, at least we have the option of seeing a band do a live stream. A lot of bands are doing it for free. I just feel really bad for bands and artists in this current time because I think a lot of them must maybe have to go back to a day job too.
Some of them, a lot of the bigger ones too, they don't have a day job. That's their whole career, right? So the smaller bands, sure, they can keep the day job, and hopefully they have kept it and they haven't been affected by the pandemic. But the bigger artists, what are they doing? That's all they used to do. Now their income's to zero, basically. Of course, they have maybe merch sales or song sales, but still, their income, from most what I've heard, is they make it playing live shows and selling merch. So who knows? Lots of them are struggling. It's a different world we live in, and it's depressing for us and the artists as well.
So with the current state of the world, Matt, do you think shows will go back to normal after COVID?
I really don't know. It's hard to say. I think maybe 5 to 6 years from now, things might be like they were back, a year ago and before. But at least for the foreseeable future, maybe in 2 years when shows start back up, people are going to be, I think at first people are going to be a little bit scared at first and maybe a little bit antsy about it. And especially huge shows like music festivals, I think people will have a different mindset where from experience before going to camping music festivals, people there are just living in their own filth for 6 to 7 days. Really, man, it's literally they're living in their own, I can't repeat the words, but so it's basically, it's nasty, right? But now maybe people are just be more cognizant of being clean, washing their hands more often, maybe giving people more personal space, taking showers more often at these festivals, especially these hippies, man, at these fests, they're nasty.
Hippies suck in every universe.
How about you? What do you think about the future of live shows? Is it going to be back to normal or maybe a bit different?
It's going to be a bit different for sure. I can see maybe in a year to 2 years, maybe they'll bring back shows, but will people be wearing a mask? How is it going to look in terms of social distancing? I know a lot of concerts in America, these stupid concerts in America, people are going and not social distancing, no mask wearing, like, you know, they just don't care about that kind of stuff. But I mean, as the quicker we can get this done with, the quicker we can get back to a sense of normalcy in life. So hopefully people are actually abiding by the rules. So yeah, I don't know, it's so weird. Like sometimes I just think about the fact that shows aren't here, and because half the time I'm like, okay, I expect it to be like a year ago where we're going to a show. So it's really odd just thinking about it, but at least live streaming is still a thing and artists are able to switch the way they do things. It's not the way they want 100%, but I know a lot of bands are going to like venues and just going with like the 5 guys and then in the band and then the group, the tech team to help them out. And then there's no one in the audience. So that's the thing too. It's like, it sounds so different when you don't have anyone in the crowd. You know, it's like, it's just the music. Like, are they gonna add like crowd noise or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling. I guess the electronic streams, as soon as COVID hit, they immediately transitioned to the live stream format because I guess it's easy for them because usually it's just 1 or 2 guys and they have their equipment which they can just plug into the computer. And it's like you mentioned, there's no live crowd anymore, but platforms like Twitch and even I've seen some of them do like Facebook streams that have live chat, right? So it's easier for DJs because they can have their controller or decks right here and then they have a laptop or computer beside them with the chat rolling in. So it's a way different experience where, you know, they can still play. There's no crowd around them or noise, but they basically can see the chat going crazy and people commenting stuff. And I guess it almost allows them to play. I'd say this would work for as well, like rock or metal bands too, where they can play songs they wouldn't normally play because there's no crowd to cater to anymore. It's like, yeah, I'm going to play this because I want to play this. And it still sound good.
I kind of like what you talked about before. Like, I think what electronic music did it better than metal because, like you said, there were so many live stream of artists playing, and for metal bands, it seems like a lot of them are still not kind of jumping on that bandwagon because unfortunately it's the way it's got to be. So I think a lot of metal bands are starting to kind of go into that. A lot of my favorite bands are doing some live streams, but yeah, electronic music like jumped onto that way before metal did. So I think they did a way better job.
I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna die. So building on to what we've been discussing, do you think that live venues can survive this pandemic much longer?
I don't know if they can, man. Like, I know a lot of them have been struggling, and I know they do a lot of other events, but the music stuff is kind of their bread and butter, I think, for a lot of these places that have like, 200 people they play to every night. So I'm kind of worried about them, and I don't know if there's a lot of government assistance. I know there's a little bit for venues and stuff, but yeah, if it's like another couple of years, like, I don't know how they can survive. What do you think?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a culling, I think, because even the venues in our own city here, I've noticed that they're trying to throw, like, I guess, seated events and, you know, pandemic, pandemic safe events, whereas people are seated there at their seats, but then there's a band or artist playing on the stage still. But there's one venue in our city, I've seen them actually auctioning off all their fancy art and kind of memorabilia they've gained over the last 15 years. So it's kind of sad to see, but they have to do it, otherwise they're just going to go bankrupt, right? And then they're going to close down. So it's going to be different landscape for venues, and I guess a bunch will shut down all over the world and maybe some others will open up.
Thanks for watching, guys. That was another podcast. For 191 Media, I'm Micah.
And I'm Matt. And if you had just a second, if you could please like, comment, and subscribe, that would really help the channel out. We'll see you in the next one.